This is a macrophage, a type of immune cell, eating and destroying these bacteria. And that's just one of the many ways your immune system protects you and your body from millions of constantly evolving threats. But how does this complex web of cells actually work? We're going to be exploring exactly that, starting with your innate immune system, which is a general defense for all pathogens. We're going to be diving deep, so I'll talk about the complement system and the adaptive immune system in another video. Firstly, your skin secretes antimicrobial sebum, a kind of fluid that kills most pathogens. Even places like your lungs that give direct access to your bloodstream are covered in a layer of cells designed to protect you. You have goblet cells that secrete mucus to trap pathogens. And the ciliary, think of it like a fine brush, pushes the mucus out of your lungs where it can easily be coughed out. But what if a microbe gets into your body? Usually, a pathogen can get in through a cut in the skin. But even before the pathogen is detected by your immune cells, your platelets, dead cells in your blood, coagulate and form a scab to create a barrier while the cut heals. During coagulation, platelets can produce amino acids like beta-lysine that destroy pathogens through lysis, which is when the cell membrane breaks down, killing the cell in the process. Your immune cells need to know what's a threat and what's your own body, which is called having self-tolerance. Some immune cells have receptors on their surface that can detect the shape of a cell's antigen, which is like a unique fingerprint for each pathogen strain. Autoimmune disease is the lack of self-tolerance, meaning immune cells start thinking that normal cells are pathogens, and so start attacking your own body. Viruses aren't technically alive, they're just a shell with genetic information inside, and they work in an ingenious way. They find and enter a host cell, and their RNA, which are instructions on how to build more of themselves, forces the cell to produce tons of new viruses until it bursts open, releasing hundreds of new copies. A type of white blood cell, called natural killer cells, try to prevent this from happening by killing infected cells. They can spot infected host cells because they present less cell surface markers, specifically major histocompatibility complex or MHC markers, than if they were uninfected. By the way, these immune cells are your primary defense against cancerous cells. Bacteria work in a slightly different way. They replicate rapidly in a process called binary fission, each cell dividing every 20 minutes or so. Bacteria produce exotoxins and endotoxins. Exotoxins destroy host cells, while endotoxins are released instantly when the bacteria dies. All of this damage causes inflammation. Damaged cells release chemicals like histamine, bradykinin, and prostaglandins. Some immune cells can also release histamine, like basophils, who are directly related to the neutrophil. These chemicals attract tons of white blood cells and cause local vasodilation, meaning your blood vessels open up and release fluid, making it easier for your immune cells to work. When activated, mast cells can also produce proteins like cytokines, which attract even more immune cells. Since cytokines are released like crazy by your immune cells, they're regulated by neural circuits in your spleen. All of your white blood cells are produced in your bone marrow, in a place called the spongy bone. Red blood cells and platelets are also produced here. White blood cells are also known as leukocytes. More than half of all of your leukocytes are neutrophils. Neutrophils have granules in their cytoplasm that contain toxic substances that kill bacteria and fungi through a respiratory burst. While I was researching this, I found out that your body creates more than 100 billion neutrophils a day. That's literally more than the number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Remember what I showed you at the start of the video? That's called phagocytosis, which is when a phagocytic cell, like a macrophage or a neutrophil, engulf debris or microbes and use enzymes released from a special organelle they have called a lysosome that break down the pathogen, destroying it completely. Your body has to tightly regulate a lot of your immune cells to make sure that they don't overreact and start causing tons of damage to your own cells. Eosinophils, a type of white blood cell, are one of these. They're highly effective because they secrete incredibly toxic proteins that destroy all the cells around them, pathogen or not. We've only covered the innate immune system so far. After a few days, your adaptive immune system kicks into full effect. If I want, I can make a part 2 on this all about that side of the immune system. So, if you ever feel lonely, know that there are billions of cells inside you right now willing to die for you. And until next time, thanks for watching.